Salve, salve, galerinha! Aqui trazendo mais vídeo pro canal. Galerinha, hoje nós vamos dar continuidade às nossas aventuras aqui no Genshin Impact. No vídeo de hoje a gente vai dar continuidade aqui, né? A missão do arconte. No vídeo anterior a gente veio aqui, né? Conhecer o pessoal. A gente agora vai começar a história aqui, né? A parte da missão doença crônica. E foi aquela NPC que a gente encontrou, né? Que a gente tentou tocar nela, ela saiu correndo. Então vamos ver aqui o que ela tem, né? Já queria pedir para o pessoal deixar aquele like, se inscrever no canal. Caso você não seja inscrito, vídeo todos os dias, ative aí o sininho das notificações para você receber a notificação dos vídeos. E vamos dar início aqui, né? A história. É a Collei, né? A Collei parece que é doente.
I came to check on Kale's condition.
You mean she's sick? How could she be... Oh, wait a minute. Could it be because of what Paimon did yesterday?
No need to worry. Something as small as you could never harm her. Kale has been more excited than usual since you two arrived. A little too much so to... I suppose it's understandable, though. She hasn't been around anyone she considered a friend for some...
So, Tighnari, what's really...
Let's take this conversation elsewhere. Kale just fell asleep after taking her...
Ah, ele quer conversar em outro lugar. Embaixo.
Alright, let's continue our conversation here, shall we? To be honest, I hadn't realized that you're that honorary knight from Mondstadt until Kale told me just now. So, just to clarify, what I'm about to tell you about Kale is not because of who you are or your... Well, because... And honestly speaking, I was against Kale review, but she insisted, saying you two treated her with sincerity.
So, Tighnari, what exactly is wrong with Kale?
Right. Ever since she was a child, she's been afflicted with a disease called Elazar.
Elazar?
Yes, it's a disease unique to the lands of Sumeru. It is characterized by dark and hardened scales that, at first, the afflicted may only feel mild numbness on the affected area of the skin. However, as the disease progresses, one may begin feeling fatigued. In its final stages, the disease strips a person of the ability to control their own body, and they...
That sounds terrifying. Wait, hold on. So when Kale seemed to be acting...
Correct. That would be the effects of Elazar, which is precisely why I do not want her carrying or holding anything. With appropriate treatment, the disease can be effectively controlled before it progresses to a more... Nevertheless, Kale's mother still hoped that there was something out there. She handed Kale over to an organization known as the Fatui after...
What? The Fatui?
Ah, it appears you're already familiar with them. Anyway, the person who eventually rescued Kale and brought her to me for care said that she had been given to a harbinger known as the Doctor. I have no idea how this doctor managed to do it, but her case of Elazar was completely stable for all the years that Kale was with them. However, Kale's days with the Fatui were anything but pleasant. Kale is a resilient individual and always tries to appear cheerful, but her experience with the Fatui has left deep scars.
Oh, Paimon had no idea.
Oh, by the way, Paimon, Kale wanted me to tell you that she's sorry for scaring you yesterday. She also wanted both...
She doesn't need to apologize.
Well said. I hope you'll get a chance to tell her that in person the next time you see her. Kale once thought that it would be impossible for her to have any real friendships. I trust that you two will never...
Don't worry, Tighnari. We'll take good care of her.
Well, it's not too serious at this point. She overexerted herself the last couple of days, which is what led to her breakdown this time. As though, I must admit that Kale's condition was much more stable when she first arrived here. She was interested in the work of the forest rangers the moment she saw us. I could see that she was serious about... Her stamina has gotten much worse recently. Though a moderate amount of physical exercise is always necessary, All right. Now that I've told you about Kale's past, I think I'll head into the rainforest to find some ingredients needed for her medicine. I'll see you two later.
Yeah, we'd like to...
All right, but I must warn you two. The rainforest is a dangerous place, especially for someone who's still recovering.
No problem.
Let's go then.
Hey, Tighnari, where exactly are we going to find this plant?
Lunar Lotus can be found all over the
Tem
rainforest, but it often
desafio
grows
ali.
right here around Gandharvaville.
Given the name, it sounds like we should be looking for it in the
Menta.
water.
You are correct. Lunar Lotus grows in the water. When fully matured, they look like giant blue flowers floating on the water's surface. Quite an attractive species, if you ask me. The large petals are actually the plant's leaves and sepals, which surround a very small flower. You should note that many of the plants found in Sumeru have names that are contrary to their species. Take the Kalpalata, for example. The plant is not a lotus at all, but rather a vine. And then there's the Sumeru rose, which is not a rose, completely contrary to its name.
Ixi.
Okay then. New to Paimon. You never bring up the topic of flowers with kindness.
Acho melhor jogar com... Ela tá sem nenhum artefato. Quando carregar o especial eu dou uma olhada.
There should be lunar lotuses growing somewhere in this area. If you could manage to gather 4 of them, that will rendezvous here once you've gathered.
Ele quer 4. Já vi. Ah, já vi.
Alright, we've gathered enough lunar lotuses. Let's head back to meet Tainari. Hey Tainari, we found the lotus.
Let me take a look. I'm quite glad you two came along. Your exploration experience helped save me a lot of time here.
Hey, Tainari!
Oh, Tainari, someone's calling your name.
Ah yes, that's Amir and the others. But didn't they just... Let's go find out what's going on.
Tainari, thank goodness we found you here. We were just about to head back and find you at...
What's going on?
We just discovered a withering zone.
The Withering is back? But the patrol route you were on should have been already cleared just a week ago. Can you tell me the...
It's up ahead, deep in the river valley. It's appeared in a spot that blocks nearly the entire narrow...
And the radius of the contamination?
Sorry, I couldn't get a clear...
No one in our patrol team had a vision, and it appeared to still be spreading.
Okay, I understand. You made the right decision. I'll go...
Wait, Tainari, why don't you...
You two have only just arrived in Sumeru. You're still unfamiliar. There's a unique type of anomaly that occurs in the Sumeru rainforest. The affected areas not only cause nearby vegetation to wither, but it's also lethal to wildlife and even people.
Yes, Amir is absolutely right. I wasn't kidding. As Amir said, only someone with a vision, that is, the power to manipulate...
That's right. If any of the forest rangers without a vision come across a withering zone, we first make a record of the location and then have only someone with a vision can venture within a withering zone and find a way to deal. But you don't seem to carry a vision.
Don't worry, she may not have a vision, but she's a real pro at using the power of the element.
It seems the rumors about you are true. In that case, we typically only teach visitors how to identify the Withering as they're about to leave Gundar. Stop. Don't move any further. Look there in the distance.
Huh? Where? Oh, look! Those plants have Oh, Paimon doesn't like the look of this.
That is the Withering. All right, traveler. We're going to have to enter that Withering zone. Once inside, we'll need to look for what we call tumors of the Withering. Thank you, but I must warn you. Don't push yourself. Even with elemental powers, once you step inside the Withering zone, you may experience extreme discomfort. You ready then? Let's go. First, we must locate any branches sustaining the Withering zone.
Tá, entendi.
Great work. Now that all the branches have been cleared, we'll need to take care of the tumor.
Let me weave you a verse. No, my sword.
Pew
Now, destroy the tumors of the withering.
Ok.
We did it!
Yes, thanks to you two.
Ali nas plantinhas a gente tem
We
que
were able
pegar
to quickly
os
restore this
trevos,
area
né?
back to normal.
E destruir as que estão ao redor. Depois a gente vai derrotar o mob que vai aparecer da planta maior. E a gente faz a
Obvious,
limpeza.
huh? Recently, the rate at which the withering zone appears has been increasing. If that simply meant more work for me, then that wouldn't be an issue. But it's far more severe than that. For instance, even though we cleared out the withering zone, many of the plants that were... This presents a crisis for the ecosystem itself. Many plants in the rainforest are already... And most disturbingly, as the appearances of withering zones have started to increase...
Huh?
I'm still not sure of the exact reason. However, I've received word from acquaintances at the academia that similar cases are being... No, none that we know of. The withering has been recorded in Sumeru for millennia. By the way, have you heard of Irminsul before? Irminsul is... I'm sure you've heard of ley lines, right? They're like the roots of Irminsul, spreading and extending from a... Ley lines continually absorb the memories of this world, which are then funneled into Irminsul, allowing it to collect knowledge and wisdom from ancient times. The Dendro Archon is known as the God of Wisdom because her consciousness is directly connected to it. It is also said that the Dendro... And as for the Withering, its emergence is related to a disease. That's right. My ancestors learned of this from Greater Lord Rukadevata's familiars a long time ago. I'm afraid we Rangers will be battling the Withering Zones here for... All right, that's enough on this topic for the time being.
Vai portar lá pra cidade.
Oh, Tainari, you all made it back.
The Withering Zone you reported has been taken care of. Huh. Wait, is that... Oh no, Hypatia!
Huh? What's wrong, Tainari?
This Duskbird is Hypatia's designated courier for urgent news. You do remember her, don't you? She's the scholar you and Paimon were following.
Oh, her? How could we forget?
Let me see what's written in the letter first.
So what's it say? And what's with that weird expression on your face?
Yes, allow me to explain. After we brought you from Hypatia's cave to Gandharvaville, Hypatia resumed. She must have just finished. It's been nearly 3 days since she's had anything to eat, and it appears she's forgotten.
What? You mean she's been sitting there for 3 days? Hey, wait.
Well, obviously because this has happened before. Last time she drew 5 lines. And by the time... Needless to say, Hypatia's been through worse, but we should still get to her. I've got some emergency rations set aside for times like these.
Wait, you want us to bring her the rations?
Let's find out. Here. So, how do you feel?
Huh? Really? But wait, how'd you know that she'd be—
Back when we were clearing the Withering Zone, I observed that she could adeptly manipulate the Dendro element. I knew. And if I may ask, when I was telling you two about Irminsol's ley lines, was what I described similar at all to what you saw while you were on— That's correct. Those weren't hallucinations at all. Because what you saw is of significant importance. Not just for— My forefathers were shown much favor by Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. We took an oath to protect this nation together with her. Now that that duty has fallen to me, it was part of my Now, after seeing you in action with my own eyes, you have earned my confidence, and I no longer feel the need. When you passed out, your consciousness had connected directly with Irminsol. I could try to tell you more, but it would be better if you went to ask Hypatia instead. Her focus on meditation and use of Spirit Borneol are aimed at a—
that sounds nice and all, but will—
That was because when you ran into her, she was in a special phase of her training. During that time, she must avoid Please, wait here for a moment. Here, take these. It's a meal I packed for Hypatia, as well as some other ingredients. Also, here's a letter that I would like you to give to her. Just show it to her and she'll answer any questions you may have. No. I should be the one thank—
Hypatia should still be in the cave. Hypatia should still be in the cave. Let's go inside and see how she's doing. Hello? Hypatia? Maybe she went out to look for some food. Let's try looking around the area.
De novo.
There you are! Hypatia. There's no way we can get her to eat in her current condition. Huh? Wait. Huh? What happened? And where are we? Really?
Eles encolheram, né?
Wow. This place is huge! strange. Paimon knew there's something off about that cave. Let's think of a way to get over there and have a closer look. Who knows? Maybe we'll find a lead of some kind. Huh? What happened just now? Why'd everything around us suddenly change? Look at you, Boozle! Propagate!
Time for retribution!
Germinate!
Que viagem, né? A gente tem que achar 3 desses, né?
This place is getting weirder by the minute! Hey! What's the matter? You don't look so good! Propagate!
Tem que acertar alguma coisa aqui. Será que é vento?
The wind knows me.
Não, não é vento. Ah, tá, entendi. É, tem que olhar ali, ó. Fazer o símbolo ficar um junto do outro. A porta vai abrir. Eles deveriam dar uma dica, né? Melhor. Ixi, vai ter luta agora?
Wind Strider. Time for retribution! Grant me new life! Will come! The end is nigh.
Ok.
Why can't we beat this guy? Oh, Paimon doesn't get it! We faced others like him before! What's wrong?
Traveler, though you may have managed to avert countless crises before, your good fortune was bound to end sooner or later. It's time you realize how weak and powerless you really are. Your brother... His Highness has long since forsaken you. Your meager existence in the bonds of love and... But don't you fret now.
What do we do? Oh, there she is! Well, the good news is that she's still conscious. Hey, why'd you drop her food on the floor like that? Are you... Anyways, we can... Whoa! Wait a sec. Look at all this fruit lying around.
Who is there? Tainari, is that you? Huh?
It's okay. You can relax, Hypatia.
Pra uma olhada. Pra afastar uma olhada.
I see. So, you're friends of Tainari. I'm grateful that you came so quickly to save me.
Well, actually, we were kind of wondering about that, actually. When we found you here, there was all this fruit lying around.
Oh. I seem to understand now. All the fruit was likely...
Your neighbor? You mean there's someone else living there?
Oh? So...
Wait, hold on a second, Traveler. You say that before we...
No, I actually do believe what the Traveler is saying. You needn't worry. They mean you no harm. They only dragged you in...
So, Hypatia, just what...
I'm not sure what it's called, to be honest. But I know this because the first time I saw them was also the exact day my consciousness was able to form a connection. Even after I opened my eyes and stopped meditating, my heart was still pounding, And at that very moment, I suddenly noticed a small in my curiosity, I began to walk over to the creature. They must have already been used to me living in. It wasn't until I crouched down next to them that they suddenly
Oh! And then?
And then I had a dream. By the time I was convinced they'd never show up again. But I feel like they aren't as afraid of me as the first time I approached them. But yes, no doubt about that. By the way...
Well, if somebody hadn't dropped the food... All right, we're up, traveler.
Sounds good.
Será que é um frango assado? Cadê a fogueira? Um negócio aqui. Ué. Ah. LOL, muito distante. Tem a opção aí de preparar a comida, né?
Let's use the empty box. Oh, it smells amazing. And the box is...
Vamos voltar lá para entregar.
Are you already finished cooking? Even though everything you mentioned was in Tainari's letter, it's still hard to believe you were. It took me nearly 3 years before I could do so. And you should know that some researchers spent their entire...
So why does this incense allow...
The ingredients used to make spirit-born ale, primarily since the root of the Dendro Archon's power lies within Irminsul, we can occasionally tap it naturally. Anyone who can establish a connection with Irminsul in their first ever attempt must be a person of great...
Makes sense. But Paimon's got a question.
That was primarily due to her body's unique constitution. Stimulated by the incense, taking in any scent similar to the ingredients of Spirit-born Ale would... Not to worry, though. Technically, your body should still be sensitive to the powers of the Dendro Archon. But unless you're using intentional meditation techniques... I must admit, I am quite envious of your abilities. Even if it meant suffering from pounding headaches for the rest of my...
Whoa! You're really serious?
As a member of the Ritaoist Darshan at the Academia, my main area of research is
Oh,
the stars and their connect, which is why I must... If only my perception... I am currently in the stage of training known as Satyavada life. Sages have said that Irminsul contains divine knowledge, and touching such knowledge without... That's why we meditate alone. We need to ensure that our minds will become...
Whoa! So knowledge from Irminsul can be super dangerous.
Of course I do. Especially during nights that are pitch black with no moonlight. However, I've been feeling better as of late. I believe that being able to see them is a sort of blessing from the Dendro Archon. But what's strangest of all is that they're clearly an envoy of the God of Wisdom herself.
What's so strange about that? It doesn't sound so out of...
Well, it's strange because nearly nobody in Sumeru can ever dream.
Ah.
Yes, well, to an extent. The sages say that wisdom implies rationality, but that which occurs in dreams is often... Yes, if one struggles with anxieties, the fact that the people of Sumeru do not have dreams is seen as a blessing by the sages. They believe that Greater Lord Rukadevata, the god of wisdom, is keeping us away from the foolish delusion. I was born into a family of scholars in Sumeru City. Ever since I was a child, I studied hard, enrolled as a student in the academia, and went... But then, on the day I scared the little Aranara, I suddenly saw a dream again. It was incredible. Though I don't exactly remember what I saw back then. I was foolish and ignorant as any youth would be. But I was free of... just be sure not to speak of this if you travel to Sim...
So, do you have any thoughts about the things she...
Sorry. I'm afraid I don't have any answers as of now. If only I could ascend... If you two are ever in the area again, there's no need to be thanking me.
Now that we know Hypatia is all right and had the chance to ask her some questions.
Think about it, Tainari. Refusing to join is tantamount to burying your head in the sand. I understand that you're a forest watcher and that it's your duty to combat the effects of withering zones. But isn't it evident that such work is not a lasting... As Sage Kage clearly stated, your presence and guidance in Sumeru City is pivotal in finding a cure for Irminsul.
Keep your emotions in check, Ghulam. Let's at least listen to Tainari's reason for declining. We're here to invite him to the academia.
Sage Kage, I am truly honored that you came here, and I am merely a forest watcher. How could the great minds of the Haravatat have aimed?
Well, it turns out that your refusal letter had some implications on...
I see. Huh. And I figured that given his temper, he would come here and berate me personally.
Tainari, your master is an integral part of this effort.
And what exactly does my master need of me, Sage Kage?
You'll know once you've arrived in Sumeru.
And how long will I be required? Do you mean to tell me that despite coming all the way here to Gandharvaville, you still can't answer the questions I laid out in the letter to my... If that's the case, then I'm afraid I cannot...
Tainari, but you...
So be it. Come, Ghulam, we're leaving.
Tainari, what was...
It's nothing. Some people from the academia wanted me to go to Sumeru City to assist them with a project. But all that can wait. How did things go with Hypatia?
It was quite...
Very good. Now that the traveler has made a full recovery, there shouldn't be any reason for...
That's right! We want to meet Lesser Lord Kusanali and ask...
Sorry. I'm afraid I don't have any advice for you there.
Well, do you at least know anyone we can try...
Let me think. My trips to Sumeru City have been fairly short. How about this? I'll write you a letter of introduction that you can give to a researcher I know. He's from the... Also, when you enter Sumeru City, you'll probably end up receiving something like this item here.
Oh?
It's called an Akasha Terminal. Needless to say, this device and its usage fall under the Academia's expertise.
Great! Next up, Sumeru City! That's right! Tainari, we have something...
Yes, she's doing much better. She knew you two would be leaving soon, so she must...
Thanks, Tainari.
Farewell.
Well... Thanks for waiting here just to see us off, Kale.
Don't worry about me, and, I'm sorry.
But I guess now I understand that the most important thing... There's no need to apologize, Kale. We should be thanking you for trusting us enough to be your... We're probably still gonna worry about your condition, but that's because...
Thank you. That means a lot.
Oh?
It's my recipe for pita pockets. I told you that I'd give you a copy.
Yay! Thanks, Kale. Now we can eat those scrumptious...
I hope that whenever you eat them, you'll both remember... Well then,
Galerinha, concluímos aí a Erudita Solitária. Espero que vocês tenham gostado. A gente vai dar uma parada por aqui, o vídeo tá ficando grande. Deixa aquele like, se inscreva no canal caso você não seja inscrito. Vídeo todos os dias, ative aí o sininho das notificações para você receber a notificação dos vídeos. E a gente se vê no próximo vídeo. Valeu, falou e fui!